How are you guys doing today? Should be just about ready to go live tonight. It is 8:13 p.m. Central Time here in Austin, Texas. And today we're going to be talking with, if you're not familiar with Andrew Mercado, he has been doing live streaming now for a very long time. He's one of the pioneer uh, live streaming machines that came out of Minnesota when we started to see some of these Black Lives Matter protests take off here in the United States shortly after the George Floyd incident and everything following that, going from DC to Kenosha in Wisconsin, having filmed so much of the activity that's happened, not only in his home state, but also across the country. As many of you know, I myself have had the privilege of traveling in the past to film different events in different parts of the country, and so has Andrew. So he definitely has a very valuable and very, I think, important information that he could share about his experience as a journalist slash live streamer. Talk a little bit about the way that he feels about the work that he's done maybe in the last month and maybe even further behind that and maybe even also answer some of your questions live on this format. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you don't know who Andrew Mercado is, feel free to look up his work on Mercado Media LLC on Facebook, YouTube. He's also a video game streamer, so you'll casually see him playing video games through, I think, PS5 and most recently through the through PC, which he'll tell us more about later. But as for me, I know that there's been quite a long absence, but been just working, finding some financial stability, especially coming into this holiday season. As many of you imagine, unlike many people might speculate, I am far from profiting from the work that I do. It is always and will always continue to be a community service. I don't profit off of this, so I need to find my own way to generate income to sustain myself. Nevertheless, so it's been a privilege, and it continues to be a privilege to be part of a new age, I think, of journalism and information sharing. So I'll go ahead and invite Andrew Mercado into our conversation as soon as he is ready.
I'll be ready soon, buddy. It's still rolling, but I'll be ready shortly.
Cool, no worries. And I mean, like, I know that, many of you guys have followed me and are Austin natives and locals, and don't know exactly who Andrew Mercado is. But like I had mentioned, he's one of those pioneers in live streaming who joined the game really, really early on and has been, doing live streaming slash journalism. And I think he's done a really great job in the moments where things have been incredibly difficult. I think that everyone with a platform on Facebook has maybe a slightly different approach, or slightly different ideas. And I know that many of the people that have platforms that many people compare to mine don't necessarily, adhere or don't necessarily navigate situations the same way that I would. Some people are more willing to be vocal about their personal opinions. Not talking specifically about Andrew, we'll learn more about him. But as you'll learn, I think that every individual that has jumped into this kind of new age of journalism has definitely found a unique and different way to approach the many difficult obstacles and situations that anyone with a camera would approach when they're involved in really tense situations. And also, not to dampen the mood or anything with anyone here. I just like to let you know that part of the reason that I've had an absence has to do with the passing away of one of my close relatives from COVID-19. So if you have yet to find good reason to, at the very least, have a consideration for others and yourself and the safety of the public in general, um, please continue to consider those people that are vulnerable, those people who COVID may not be very friendly to. It's really easy to be taken away by numbers, especially the number like 1%. How could it be me or how could it be my neighbor? But oftentimes it could very well be you, or it could very well be one of your close relatives who I know we all love dearly and would hate to have to. Say goodbye to, especially during a time where we're all forced to stay at home, socially distance, and at a time where we're kind of pushed to try to keep each other safe from such a unique and difficult situation pandemic that we find ourselves in today. Austin, Texas is actually considering some interesting measures for continuing the COVID restrictions, or not continuing, but maybe putting something like a curfew in place, specifically for bars and restaurants. Given that now Austin, Texas has gone into that has jumped into stage 5 of what they consider would be an infection rate. I don't know exactly how the staging works. I know that stage 5 is definitely one of those really dangerous levels where they start considering further action to try to contain the spread of this particular virus. It's really, incredible to see all of you still willing to tune in. I appreciate your support so much. I appreciate everything each and every single one of you have done to make sure that we were able to accomplish what we did accomplish this summer, right? And to me, that in and of itself was more than enough. And if we can continue to accomplish even more, specifically to bring in the conversation to your homes and give you a seat at the table where you otherwise may not have had a seat at the table or may not have had the ability to witness or digest some of the important information that has certainly been shaping our country most recently. As we know, these movements have a historical impact on the direction of our government, our policy, everything. You can imagine from, how much you're paid and how much, the government allows companies to pay you to, pretty much everything. There's no aspect in your life where some of these movements don't have a direct impact. I know that El Paso has not been doing well with some of these, COVID numbers. So hopefully things get better in El Paso. There's been a lot of viral videos about the treatment of patients, a lot of questions about the vaccine. But so far as things go, I think it's best that we all trust public health experts, because I definitely couldn't. And wouldn't be able to begin to explain to you the complexities and the different facets of decision making and the effort that goes into ensuring public safety. So I'll just, in case you don't know what you're doing here or why you're staring at my face, 8:23 Central Time, wherever you are. I'm currently in Austin, Texas. We are waiting on Andrew Mercado from Mercado Media LLC, who very much, in a lot of ways, has been a journalist and a live streamer of BLM protests and beyond. Again, he's traveled the country, and his platform is actually rather large. I think he was one of the pioneers in this particular field. So um, it'll be amazing to hear some of his experiences, what he's been through, what he thinks about journalism, especially in this new age. Um, Also, what was super cool is, I was able to think through a lot of the work we've done. And recently, I spoke to some middle schoolers, did a career day presentation, and I just realized how, the career you pick is as much about, how smart you are, as it is about how hard you try. I think that, like, you got to try really hard to be really smart and knowledgeable in a particular field, which would lead you to success. And I think that also works, in the inverse. You need to acquire a lot of knowledge so that you can acquire the skills you need to do your job appropriately. And it was, beyond incredible to be able to talk to some of these kids about the limited experience that I had, and even just more than that, the potential that these children had to start a career like that on their own, especially now with, the access to a camera, the access to an online platform. It's something so readily available. I think just anyone can become a journalist, so long as they have the interest, the passion, to take the time to gain the know-how. I mean, it was incredible to talk to some of these kids, but really humbling experience and a reminder of how far we've gotten with this particular platform, or how far we did get, during the summer. And hopefully now this platform transitions into something a lot more steady, but also equally as important. I need to read your comments. Don't California Gate, Texas. Keep up the good work, Hiram. Hi, Hiram. Well, all I could say is hi to every single one of you guys. I really appreciate every single one of you guys tuning in. And hopefully we will be getting started with Andrew in just a bit. He is getting ready, about to join us here today. Would you love When you love what you do, a job is no longer a chore. That is so true. When you love what you do, um, your job is no longer a chore. It wasn't. I mean, the whole thing, the entire time felt very much the opposite of a chore. I have always believed in, the importance of proper information about, the things that are impacting our communities, having, somewhere to get information that's reliable, that's consistent, that isn't taking advantage of my economic status or isn't taking advantage of my predispositions, but rather encouraging me to be a critical thinker and develop that important information and those important opinions all on my own without someone shoving the ideas down my throat. That sells. It's easy to sell because most people would rather let you tell them what to think, but challenging people is a whole other, I think, ball game, and it requires extensive amount of information. I don't think I could properly do that in 30 minutes or in 5 minute stories. I think that it had to go the way that I did it, which was showing you just raw hour hours and hours of these movements unfolding on the ground, and seeing the development of some of these organizations, from the beginning, maybe till their end or till where they are today. right? So organizations like Peace and Austin that we all got to observe, come together through the stream, and we got to see their work on the ground. And even after, we got to continue to see their influence in Austin. Again, and I feel like that's the only way to bring true, reliable, unedited information. I feel like you either bring it all or, risk bringing something that, again, is going to resemble more you shoving somebody something without context, information without context, and opinion down their throat instead of encouraging them to be critical thinkers. So thank you so much for hanging in there, and like I said, I just can't wait to have Andrew hop on the platform. She should be ready in just a few minutes. We all have our own, I think, ritual and way of doing things, which is super awesome. Um, and I'll be looking through your comments. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, below, next to you, I don't know, on top of you, in front of you. I don't know where the comment section is, but wherever it is, if you have any questions for me or Andrew Mercado, who is also a live streaming journalist out of Minneapolis, please leave those questions there today. Andrew and I will be talking together about some of our experiences and the things that kind of shaped, who we are today as journalists, and in some ways, community members, providing information to other community members. So he's ready to jump on. And so we should be ready to go. Let me hide all the comments from the stream. So, hey guys, let's welcome Andrew Mercado. Super awesome guy.
How you doing?
Even awesome, even more awesome as a live stream journalist. Man, how's it going?
Oh man, it's going well. How's it going with you?
It's going well. I think we're hanging in there. As we're not really rich or making a lot of money off of this, so I've just been working to keep myself financially afloat.
Yeah, that's what I had to finally find a job, man.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't do the donations thing. I didn't even like doing the donations thing at the beginning. So it was very crucial for me to find a way to support myself going forward. So I even have a part-time job. I work at a grocery store or a gas. A convenience store, a gas station.
Store.
Yeah. So that's what's getting me by,
No, yeah, I've seen that, and I myself, I do favor delivery, which is a lot like DoorDash or Uber Eats. I don't know, every state, city has their own delivery company sometimes, but here in Texas we have favors, so that's what I've been working on recently. I was looking for something a little more involved, but I've been taking like a part-time job so that I can focus on doing some of this work here, and I'm sure you've had the same in mind, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had to figure out like what I'm gonna do, beyond or what we do. We can't. It's not going to be boots on the ground all the time reporting.
Yeah.
So I feel with our platform and how we have things set up, we can further the conversation by having like podcasts and just discussions.
And something I really like about you, Andrew, is that I know that you've been trying to be a live streamer now for a while, I think. I saw that you had that really old gaming channel, before you jumped into live reporting. But it seems like you've always kind of had an invested interest in, at least in some form, getting involved with live streaming and some of this new age thing, some of this new age, type of reporting and interacting through social media that you've never seen before. And it's cool how you just stuck to it. You found your place. You found a way to make it work. And I think when you posted that post, you said started from the bottom, and then now you're here with thousands of followers. It's super cool, man.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, when I started, not many know about that gaming channel. I was just I had a little community at school, and like two people watched me, and I went live. I went live directly on my PlayStation 4, and I had a little PlayStation 4 camera, and I just like I don't know. It was just during like a low point, and so like that alone, like figuring out that there's interaction I can do live with people,
Yeah.
was even if it was just two people. I think I had five people one night on mine, and I like was super excited about it. I'm like, holy shit, five people, because I mean,
Yeah.
and Big Luke is in the chat on my YouTube. He knows about it. He was there. Had a great streaming mentor. Exactly. Yeah, Big Luke was one of so my friends were getting into it first. A couple of my
Wow.
friends, and they
Yeah.
like I saw what they were doing, and wanted to do it as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure you never expected to do, journalism type of live streaming. I mean, because you started as a gaming channel, right? Did you
Mhm.
ever, were your intentions ever to be like a journalist for things like the BLM protests? Did you ever have that in mind?
No, no, not at all. I didn't even want to. I wasn't. I just was bored with life at home. So I was watching my friends that were streaming, a couple of them, and I was like, man, that looks like fun. I want to get into that. So again, I just was playing some video games, but that's the only experience I had with any type of streaming. So, and at that time, I just was using that for a mental health escape, if you
Yeah,
will, just to get as an outlet to try something new because a lot of people were streaming or the streaming thing was becoming bigger, and I was like, well, that might be something cool just for like a hobby, and so it went from there.
yeah. Jude, did it ever occur to you that you would do something a lot more long term like you're doing now, when you started, or were you like thinking about just ending it once the protests ended? I mean, what was your thinking as you developed?
Over time, I knew that this was a big deal, like what we're doing here with live streaming in the context that we're trying to do it with live reporting, live streaming the news, just showing what's happening as it's happening with some reflections, some summarizations,
Yeah,
not really telling you how I feel and telling you how you should feel what you watch. It's more documentarian style. But that, I I already had I guess, the blessing of foresight to know that we're not going to be having protests forever, and you'd hope that you wouldn't, they wouldn't keep going forever because issues are become resolved. So you can't plan I shouldn't say I should speak for myself. I couldn't plan you know, a platform around that when I want
yeah,
to uplift voices, and I don't want it to be all about protesting. I want to talk to people, and like this is a way I feel that I can either through community building with video games because like I'm getting more and more people that have never cared to watch video games start to watch video games now because
yeah,
some of the narrative driven games they're putting out are like movies with, and so like it's drawing a crowd of people that are getting into that. And I've always played video games my whole life, so I needed a way to incorporate something that's good for my mental health and community building at the same time. So video games is a good outlet for that. Um,
uh,
but I also want to continue to do things like this where we have discussions and I want to do this every week. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like this is something I want to keep incorporating and doing and bring new people on every week. And even if it's like just me doing it or if it's me and you figure out a way to bring a third person on and just have like a talk or however, but I'm doing this every Friday from here on out on my platforms at least because I feel like this is important.
No, that it definitely is because I think that it's really easy as an outsider to start to come to your own conclusions about the things you've seen on camera, right? But that camera angle, even though it's pretty awesome nowadays because we got some awesome phones, it's still really limited. You know what I mean? And what you're seeing, is really just a fraction of what's really happening. One thing I remember a lot is your experience in Kenosha, right? What you saw there and what you experienced, just it's impossible to describe it, even if you were live in that moment, right? Because you were still limited to only what the camera could capture at once, and I'm sure there was like a million things happening to you, at all
Yeah.
times when you were out there. So I think this is a great idea. It's that missing context. It's that 360 angle that nobody else got to see because they weren't there like you were.
Well, that and it just also gives people an opportunity to talk with us. Like, we're giving information. We're providing information through live stream.
Yeah,
We're a news source. When we're out there doing what we're doing, but I think we also, as our generation, we're built for. Those of us that have been out there, we're also built for building communities and being involved in online activities, and so that's why I feel like we're also trying to get into the podcast, like the like-minded individuals like myself and you and the media avengers, if you will,
yeah.
are trying to do other things as well, in addition to. And I feel this is just a continuing conversation and dialogue, even if with people that don't necessarily agree with everything that I say. That's important as well.
Yeah, no, you get that. I think you get that urge to want to share just beyond what you've been able to share on camera. I mean, because there's so many moments and so many experiences I had that I captured that I know need more context, right? Like I recorded that and I know that you can kind of see what's happening, but I just, I wish I had the time to sit down and talk to you and give you all the details that you missed because you weren't there in person. I feel like a lot of people that get involved in this kind of work feel that kind of desire or that yearning because I mean that people are missing an important chunk of that information in that context. So that long form content like those podcasts, man, they're whew, so important. I think in giving people, even more of the information that they need to come up with those opinions. So
Right,
it's
and because they, on one hand, they get the information, the I can't think of the word, the document, if you will, like like what happened, and then the live stream media provides that, and then the podcast provides the forum to talk about. And I feel like that's the best way you can dissect information better. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, no, totally, man, 100%. And so far for you, I mean, like, what's it's been, what has it been like?
Source material,
You know,
source material. That's the word I was looking for. I said document, but I was looking for source material.
source
Yeah,
material.
if the live stream is the source material, and then the podcast is the long form discussion about that, I feel that's the best way to exchange ideas and information, or share ideas about the information we're given. But anyways, as you were saying.
How I want to ask, like, how do you see yourself, I think everyone kind of has a different perception of journalism, and everyone has a very unique approach to it. I myself have met a lot of live streamers that I'm very different from, including I think one of the biggest things is like choosing whether or not to be biased or unbiased or to express your opinion.
Or what
I
is
mean,
bias?
yeah, or what is bias? I mean, like I think that's a very you know uh, complicated question to dig into. But I mean, like considering all those things, like if you were talking to somebody, how would you describe your journalism now, and maybe how would you describe it early on, and has it changed?
Well, yeah, early on, I was, so I'll just start from there. I was, ignorant as ignorant could be. Yeah, I was a guy with a phone,
Yeah,
out there in South Minneapolis with the only information I had before me was what the news told me and what I thought my confirmation bias of what I thought life was. That's all I
yeah,
had. So I was as ignorant could be. So in the purest form, I think at that point I was like 1,000% unbiased. You know what I mean? Like there's no, like at that point you put somebody that's ignorant to a situation in a situation that's rapidly changing at a second's notice. You can't get any more unbiased than that. But
Yeah.
now, over time, I've been learning, and it's getting harder and harder not to share my feelings and opinions, especially when, I've been around all the ideologies now. Not, I shouldn't say all, but the major player, if you will, ideologies that have been driving what's happening in our country all summer.
Yeah.
I've been with both now. I've seen the high points and the low points of each side's ideologies. So, but I can still say that and still go into someone's event with or a protest or or anything, a demonstration, with just an open mind and just stand there with my phone and record. And I try to, and that's what I'm trying to do now, is just maybe stand there and just give some reflections, talk, just say say what it is, what the people are there for, and then just the 5 W's: who, what, where, when, and why. And that's it. And do some
Yeah.
reflections, because at this point now it's so touchy with even just giving reflections, or people consider to be biased, because um, it's, I'm not sharing how I feel, I'm giving a reflection of what the people are saying, but some people can perceive that as that's how I feel, but it's like, no, I'm just reflecting what was just said from the person. So I even try to do that a little less now. Things, it's
Yeah.
just, you just got to be open to change and like learning. And I feel like getting stuck in one way could be bad. I don't want to, not bad, but complacency is a good word to use. You can become complacent.
Yeah, no, I mean, totally, and it's easy to become complacent, but I think it's important not to. And, to me, like, being out there feels like a huge responsibility now because I see that what I film has a huge impact on the ground, as to how people react, sometimes even what happens throughout the rest of the night. I think just having a camera and adding hundreds of people to the mix online that are at home that otherwise wouldn't be there really can have an impact on the dynamics. And I think, like when you're kind of down there doing this journalism, you're keeping all these things in mind because they're all at play. It's this really ridiculously unpredictable, complicated, I think, world that I just never expected to be as
How do
impactful and as
you how do you feel afterwards, like in the physical sense? Like, explain to me, like, after you're done reporting for the day, wherever you are, how do you feel physically?
how do I feel physically?
Yeah.
I think I'm never not exhausted, because I'm always trying to, I think it's important to always do your very best to capture things in a way that's as complete as possible. And that's always not the most comfortable, positions or moments, physically. Like you might be in a really awkward space, you might be in a really tight space, you might be walking for miles following protesters. I mean, like, it really depends on the situation. But I think that for me, it's really important to make sure that my camera angles are appropriate and aren't cutting something important out. So, I'm always willing and ready to put myself in those really uncomfortable and physically exhausting positions just to make sure that I'm filming with some integrity and with some accuracy.
Do you ever feel satisfied at the end of the day with what you did, or do you, or how do you dissect your day? Like, say when you're out reporting and you're back home at night, do you ever dissect the work that you did? Not necessarily by rewatching the stream, because for me, I don't ever rewatch my streams, but I think about what I went through out there, and if I replay kind of in my mind things I said or things I went through, or how I could have better reported that situation. I'm just wondering, do you ever go through the same when you're at home?
I, try to put my entire heart out in the work that I'm doing, so that when I come home, I feel unquestionably, somewhat at least satisfied that even if I made mistakes, because I can always improve, even if there's major areas where I may have not done as good as I could, that I did my best in that moment, and that with time, I'll eventually start getting a lot more used to or in the habit of, doing better in those areas that I might not be as strong. And so, I'm very progress oriented. So I'll go home and I'll reflect on the things I could do better. But at the very least, I always try to leave everything out on the field so that when I get home, I don't get home with regrets. Or feelings that I should have done better or I should have tried harder, because I think I'll always try hard, right?
Mhm.
And if there's areas of improvement, I mean, there always will be. So
And
no big deal.
if you could tell us or tell everybody, I guess, where you started and when you started streaming. Or yeah, when did you
So
start?
you know, Uh, uh, I think a lot of the people here in the comments remember how, things transpired at the very beginning, but I think it was very similar to you. I just kind of was out there out of my own curiosity. I wanted to show my friends back at home what it was looking like through Facebook. And then I went live on this Facebook page that I used to run because I was part of a LULAC council. And I just saw a need for more consistent coverage of what was going down there, because I didn't think about it, but when people were telling me, like, all these local news stations, the local Fox station, the local CBS station, they're cool, they're great people. I think they try their best to bring as much information, but they're limited to like 30-minute segments at most if they're lucky. Or even mostly 5 minute to 30-second interviews to try to capture everything that's going down there. And I mean, like, that's impossible. Like, you can't possibly say, with any shred of dignity, that these stories really encapsulate the entirety of what's happening on the ground. And it, really capturing the information is really about, taking the time to view the hours of footage, not just one, two interviews. I think, almost every person that is involved in these particular situations and events has their own perspective and unique story. And I think that their perspective and stories play a really important role in the way that these movements develop, and capturing every single individual opinion is impossible, but obviously, but, I think the more you capture, the closer you are to really finding the actual truth of what's happening down there. Because again, every individual has an impact. It could be the one guy that threw the rock. It could be the one guy that, didn't throw a rock. I mean, like, even sometimes not acting in and of itself could be incredibly influential. So I think that, I noticed that gap. And I noticed it, obviously, we needed somebody there consistently. So I started to go out, for really long periods of time, just
Mhm.
focusing on this one movement, because I felt there was just no other way to really get the full context of the situation without uh, going deep. So I read a question right now that I thought was really great, and I kind of wanted to ask you,
I'll do the
what
dad joke later. All right, I got
dad
you.
joke?
Why
Yeah,
why don't chicken coops have four doors?
why not?
And then they be chicken sedans.
That's kind of like, why won't seagulls fly over bays?
Why is that?
Because then they'd be bagels.
Yeah.
That's one of my
That's a
that's one of
good
my
one. I tried
favorite.
to hold it. I tried to hold it. All right. So
So
D's
what
question.
makes yeah, hey, so this question here on the screen, I think it's pretty good. What makes you still go out there? What's your driving force? Why do you keep doing this, Andrew?
Because I feel every time somebody learns something from the live stream, whether it confirms what you think you know, or it challenges your thinking and what you thought you knew. Um, I feel like somebody learns something, even myself, whether the event is intended to be educational or not, and whether we're being provided education at the event. I feel isn't important as the well, it can be important, but the event itself could be educational, and just like just observing, people. It's kind of
Yeah,
like it's just like people watching, and I'm not. I guess that kind of sounds creepy, but like Not really, because people know us and I guess know me, and they know now my purpose, and thank goodness I've been blessed with the following, and some recognition to be able to do it. Otherwise, who knows? But
Yeah.
um, I yeah, and now I had a blank. I had a PTSD moment, and now
No,
I
no,
had a complete blank.
I no, I totally feel that, in a lot of ways for me, those are some of my same motivations. And
Yeah,
if I had to ask myself why I still go out there, I think the answer is pretty straightforward for me. I see a lot of division. I see, that we all speak English, but we no longer speak the same language. I mean, absolutely not. We are so now far away from each other ideologically, that even if we wanted to have a civil conversation about our ideas, we're so far apart. I mean, we're not even speaking the same language. We're not seeing the same information. We're not listening to the same people, and oftentimes the people that we're listening to, the person that you listen to or the person that I listen to might be saying literally opposite things, which is insanely ridiculous to me, right? That we're just so divided now, and it's fed by social media. And what I've observed and what I've learned is, social media just cares that you click, and as
yep,
long as you're clicking, they're feeding you whatever you're clicking on, and you end up in these rabbit holes, no matter what side you're on, and no matter what you believe, and then information gets confusing, and then it really takes a long time to really get to a point where you can communicate with somebody, because first you need to understand their source of information, what they believe, what they don't believe. I mean, because like, nowadays there's a fake article, fake research for just about anything you can imagine matters today. And so I thought that I'd give it a shot to try to, create a platform where, I was fair, and gave people a place where they can get information that, hopefully wasn't going to lie to them. And it wasn't going to lie to them, because I wasn't going to be talking about my opinion. I was just going to be there showing them exactly what's happening, right? It's
Do
like,
you
I'm not going
feel?
to
Do you
tell you what's
feel?
happening.
Do you feel some personal feelings towards that? Like when because I can kind of hear it when you picked up your voice, and you get kind of aggressive towards it because you know what you're doing, and the majority know the reason of why you're there and what you're doing, but that minority that just cause issues, that just want to feed into issues that are just completely out there on both sides of the
Yeah.
whatever.
It,
Yeah,
it's
I feel like that's the one thing I think that gets me out of all this, that like really bothers me, is when like I'm there at at either a Republican side or a whatever Democrat side, whatever, and then there's like a couple people in that crowd that are just, they're there for me. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you here for me? I'm here for the event, but you're here for me.
yeah.
But it's it's something that, like, I don't know, they need to like study this, or how human behavior, like, because it doesn't, it's hard to explain and talk about, because it's something that I really like to do, but this is the part that's really starting to weigh on me now, because like I know what my purpose there is, and I want to just provide a platform and an opportunity for others to also see like just what's happening without me. Like I don't even talk. Like there's been a couple of streams like when this was really getting to me, like in July, where I just
Yeah.
didn't even say a word. I just was in, George Floyd Square. I didn't speak one word. I went in there and just streamed, and then I was done for the day, because I just like was so tired of hearing people project their. This is gonna be the theme of the night. Their confirmation bias. That's that's the biggest way I can explain it. They project their world and their world view into what I'm doing, and they don't even take the time to like just watch. And all their questions and their assumptions and shit could be answered if they just would watch. And that's the hardest part about this.
Yeah. No, yeah, no, it really is. And I think that, I mean, it's tough because we're jumping in, I think, what would be the deep end, and you much deeper than I because you have like 5 times the following, right? Where I have like 10,000 people following you. You got 55,000 people
Oh, you'll get
uh,
there. You'll get there.
laying laying eyes on you, and you really jumped in. I think again the deep end of what is now something incredibly unique and new in journalism. I spoke to a lot of journalists who, told me like, hey, what you're doing is truly like new age, revolutionary type of journalism, something that has not been seen before. I mean, like, when I was in high school, there wasn't even a touchscreen phone,
Hmm.
much less the ability to get on Facebook, and just go live just straight from your phone where you're at. And so now we can do that, and
And
it
I feel.
completely transforms the idea of what is journalism and how it plays a role in these movements. And people have questions, insecurities, and different ideas about what this new age journalism should look like at these various events.
Hmm. 100%. Let's answer some.
Some questions.
Yes.
Yeah, we have
That
here.
we've been having a whole bunch of them. I see them on your screen too, and that's what they as they come in. That's what it's. I see it, yeah, because it's cool the screen. Then I have mine here. Um, but yeah, man. That's
So
the that's the because the instantly becoming an independent reporter. Even with I have no schooling or education except for being a journalist, other than what the news has done wrong. You can see what they've been doing wrong for years, or at least as long as I've cared about what the news is doing. So seeing what not to do, plus some of my counseling classes have helped, and learning how to give reflections, and just have a conversation with a larger group of people, which I didn't know would be tens of thousands, but it's the same. If you think about it, if you can frame it in your mind, it's okay. But the hardest part is just trying to even be an independent journalist. You're instantly thrown into whatever mainstream category that person is against. Like you're instantly either you're becoming like CNN, or you're becoming a Fox News you chud streamer or something. Like it's like dude, it sucks, but
it's
yeah,
tough, and it's tough
yeah,
because these labels, I think, I think labels are one
label, yeah,
of the most useless things we could use when talking about each other. Because, like, you could label me as a live streamer, I could label you as a live streamer, but then, a lot of people are going to disagree about whether or not our tactics are the same, whether or not you're a journalist in the same way that I'm a journalist, right?
yeah.
So,
You're compared, yeah,
yeah,
compared all the time.
and all these labels do is they make us lazy to do research, right? Because the minute somebody says, Andrew, I don't know, Andrew is a chud or an Antifa soldier or a Trump supporter, people right away just have a list of things. Oh, Trump supporter, he must be this, and that, or oh, Antifa guy, he must be this, and that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You just have an automatic list that defines everybody really generally without really, taking the time to really research. So like, all right, people say this guy's a chud, but what does that really mean? Or, people say this guy's a super Antifa soldier. What do they mean by a super Antifa soldier, right? Like, we live in a world where information comes so fast that you just take the shortcut, you take the easy way out. You're like, you know what? I already kind of have an idea of what I think it means. I'm just gonna copy paste that to Andrew, you know.
Confirmation
Uh,
bias.
yeah,
That's my favorite.
yeah,
That's my new favorite one, because it's like that explains it, because you're just framing your truth and what you believe, instead of seeing the truth for what it is. Because the truth very well could be what you believe, but or
yeah.
go along with what you believe, but I feel like it's ever changing. It's a flow. Like things can change, and then that truth might not be the truth anymore. It might be,
100%.
or a flexed version or something of the prior truth that you thought you knew. But and so I feel as though people that are more open to change, or like a flow,
Yeah.
even in a society, it's easier, um, it's just easier. I should just put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Things just
100%.
easier.
Yeah, yeah. No, I totally, see where you're coming from there. Look, Steve here was talking about people that broadcast our live feeds and add commentary to it. I mean, our footage in a lot of ways is public domain, and I think a lot if people are giving proper credit, I mean, people could say whatever they want about the stream.
Yep.
Typically, though, one thing I don't really appreciate is that, some of these people add commentary, they copy paste my stream, and they're like, well, I just saw this happen, and it went down this and this way. And I'm like, dude, I was there and I don't even know what happened. And you're, off of the video I filmed, uh, trying to give, this really confident narrative that you know exactly what happened and why, when the person recording it doesn't even know, right? It's just like, how, why, why would you do that other than to be inflammatory and, to get more viewers and be a sensationalist, where I get people all worked up. That's what I don't like about people that are commentary, when they're really arrogant and they just think they know better than me about what's happening. What do you think?
Um, yeah, it doesn't. It initially bothered me in the beginning because I was like, well, they're just like ripping off our content. You know what I mean? But like, it does provide a lot of people that into what we're doing, and I should just go to show that we're more known than what we think we are. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
our following count has nothing to do on how well we are known in the country for what we do, because we are rebroadcasted. We've been rebroadcasted and restreamed by every streamer in existence around here. So we don't know really how many people know about what we do. So
Yeah.
it doesn't really bother me one way or another. It's when it's the more honestly, the thing that bothered me more was when the mainstream news would just take what we do and not ask.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
right. Did they just
yeah,
put up whatever they thought was happening?
yeah, and they would take it without asking, or like they would ask, like in Kenosha, their favorite was emailing me while I was live at like 3 a.m. asking me for permission. And at that time, I didn't have mods access to my email or like any help. It was just me operating my email still and shit. So um, I didn't have anybody answering those emails to be able to tell them, yeah, you have our permission. They just went with it anyways.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's pretty ruthless out there, when it comes to footage. And sometimes you capture something and everyone wants to profit off of it. Everyone wants to be the first person to break the story. And instead of asking you, they just run with whatever they can grab off your site without asking you. And that could be upsetting. And so, Deborah here is asking, like, do you get angry? And if you get angry, how do you handle your anger when your work is taken out of context? Uh,
We don't really have you don't really have control over it.
yeah.
You can be mad. You can do it as, I'm speaking for me. So for me, I mean, I've had my stream casted on everywhere, on between Woke or Steve, or the other channels on Twitch. I've had mine shared on all sides all summer. I don't even know. It's been shared to I don't even know where it is. So
Yeah.
it doesn't I guess it doesn't bother me at all, because one, I'm not in like that dichotomy of dissecting what I do. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's always going to be a community that dissect what we do, and that's just, they talk about what we do, and I'm not involved in that, and what we do, more as of like how we do it. Like I'm in those talks, like the people
Yeah.
that are like my mod team, and the like making the content and what we do better. I'm involved with that. I'm not really involved in people's opinions about what we do, unless if
Yeah.
it's directly on like my status that I write or like something, then I see it. You know what I mean? That's like, okay, but then I see opinions from people on both sides, left and right, all over the status. So I it doesn't really, how do you feel about it though? How does it, how do
I
you feel?
I don't get mad. I just feel like a little bit disappointed because I think that's part of the problem. I think that's part of the reason why it's really hard for us now more than before to be civil with each other on some of these really touchy subjects. Uh, because this information gets taken out of context, because people don't get the full understanding of what's happening, because it's all about cutting out those extreme moments that, make something look a really particular way when it's not, you know what I mean? Like, because you can literally do that with anything you wish to do. Like, you can cut anything up, into pieces or in a particular way and make it fit the narrative you want to tell. You know what I mean? And so I think that's really dangerous, and it really disappoints me, but I hope that the biggest shield for me and anyone against that is the fact that, like, hey, you know what? This guy, or this person, they showed you only 30 seconds of the footage. But if you go to the original source, there is 9 hours of information of what led up to that exact moment. And
Yep.
it's there and it's free. And if you really want to see it, you can,
Do
right?
you
So,
think
like,
it's a do you think it's a cultural attention span issue in our country that we have, or I just as fast as our technology and everything, we can get, I can order food in 2 minutes right now. You know what I mean? Like everything's at the touch, within reach for us. So do you feel like that? That's just how I feel. But how do you feel? Do you feel that attention span and in that aspect of our culture in this country is a factor?
It's not even a question of whether or not I feel it. It's a matter of fact. Today I think there's been a lot of research published now about how our attention span has been diminishing with the way that social media has developed, because now it's like, how much could we give you in the shortest amount of times, right? How many ads could you consume in the next hour? You know what I mean? And it's not really about getting into depth, or just getting little snippets. I mean, think of TikTok. You got 60 seconds to say what you want and to do what you want, and that's as long as the videos get. You know what I mean? And children and you and I get used to that really short format. You know what I mean? And now we only give issues 60 seconds, right? And not the time that they deserve. And a lot of it is because these social media companies are driven by profit, not people. They care about how many times you click, not the kind of information you're reading.
Yep. And that's why clickbait and memes, unfortunately, people take memes as fact too. Like
Yeah.
the internet's so silly. That's why I don't know. I feel as much as the millennial. And how old are you again, Hiram?
I'm 23.
Okay, so you're in the millennial generation. I'm 27. So I feel like our generation is unique in that we grew up. I grew up without. I didn't have a phone till I was, a senior in high school. It was
Yeah.
a flip phone with an antenna on it. But like I grew up and played outside. We didn't have tech. I didn't have an iPad. I didn't have. We had to play outside still. I feel like we were the last generation, just to not have technology. We were interacting with each other. And now kids are on iPads and on there. They're on every device. Yeah, you know what I mean. They're on everything now. They're using phones and all this stuff, which it can be fine. But I feel it. My point is, we grew up with the technology alongside with it. Like we had the first iMacs when we were in elementary school, and
Yeah.
the iPhone when we were in middle school and high school, and like the iPod went to um, into the iPhone. We grew up alongside with technology, so I feel like we're better equipped to navigate this ever changing um, landscape that we're in with
Yeah.
social media, but still being able to still interact with people in person too, like not on social media. But it's becoming increasingly harder because the real life and the internet are still very, very different. They will never be the same.
Yeah.
But when people bring issues from the internet into that could stay on the internet, but they decide to bring it into real life, it doesn't play out how you usually think it would.
You know, something really interesting that you mentioned was that we're among the first generations to grow up with the impact of technology.
Hmm.
Right now, look, we're sitting in front of a computer broadcasting live, something that was almost unimaginable, you know, even about 10 to 15 years ago. Um, and that, you know, is ridiculous when you think about it. This technology, I mean, has evolved so much faster, you know, than we've been able to keep up with or really been able to understand. Like, we're popping out, like, you know, phones, technology at a ridiculous rate, and we're not even thinking, oh wait, what are the consequences of doing shit this quick, this,
Hmm.
you know what I mean, this revolutionary. I mean, like, I had in the 60s we touched the moon for the first time, and now we got Curiosity and other rovers, you know, exploring Mars and even thinking about colonizing Mars. And, you know, we're just like going super quick. We're going at sonic speed, but in the process, I don't think we're processing, you know,
We're
the
not slowing down,
consequences.
we're not slowing down
Yeah.
and digesting things, and that goes back to what we were saying with, the live stream video, and then the podcast in long form, because I feel like only through things in media, or only through media forms and things like this, will we begin to change that short-term attention span, the cultural aspect we have in this country. So
Yeah. So I know you've seen some stuff, to put it nicely, when you've been out there, and I know there's been moments where your skin is on the line. You know, how do you feel about those moments? Like, you know, where your personal safety isn't always guaranteed. When you're reporting, what do you? I mean, gosh, you know, where do I start with you, Andrew? You ran into a burning house at some point. You know, that was incredible. I mean, what are you thinking in those moments?
I've just, it's all credit to my military training. I was in the military.
You are a veteran.
So, yep,
Yes.
yes, in the army. But that's all like, you don't, it's all mundane things that we were taught in the military and basic training that I didn't think, or you don't think ever, you know, it would have a factor like a tactical combat casualty care. It's TC3. That's like the rendering first aid. Like, I was almost half asleep in every single one of those classes, but I retained enough information in it, though, through time and my training, to be able to use it. And I've bandaged some people up out here. And I wouldn't have known how to do that without my army training or military training.
Yeah.
So the instinct aspect of it, derives from that, because it's just it's drilled into you so much, that aspect of, I don't know, I just act, I guess. It's just like
Yeah.
I'm able to just analyze the situation and the variables, and just execute, and then, you know what I mean. I I don't know how, if there's a training video or something I could, like, talk
Yeah.
about it, but like, it's honestly, it's from the military. That's where I learned it.
Yeah. No, and that's that's so important because you never could imagine preparing for situations like the ones you face out there, right? The shooting I saw, you saw a shooting too, right? In Kenosha, the kind of things you just go through. I mean, you can't. I mean, unless, like you said, you have some tactical military experience, you can't really prepare yourself, you know, and you might be concerned for your personal safety, but I
Well,
think,
that's the craziest part about it too, is, as even most independent streamers and press now have, well, mine's right here, but we have like plates, and
oh
and
yeah,
we wear plating, and like, when I've, teamed up and I've seen you, and you have your armor and your body gear that you wear, and I've ridden with you, and even my other friends like Kenny, or any of the streamers in the past, that
yeah,
I've teamed up with, like CJ, Soul, Greatwood, everybody. Like, we've all had body armor, and we have to wear it because of it's so stupid. And all we're doing is out there with our cameras. You know what I mean? We're not out there with a weapon. You could argue the pen is mightier than the sword. We could get into that one, but we're not out there with, with weapons. We're not
Yeah.
out there to, we're not out there for combat, but we're out. It's like you got to dress for it. You know what I mean? Now it's, yeah, I just wear my body armor underneath a comfortable sweatshirt, and I can wear Dockers, and I wear my boots that I wear to walk outside. So I have kind of like a dress that I wear now because it's not, I'm not running, literally like physically running everywhere anymore. So, but I still wear that body armor from the shooting in Kenosha. Like after that event, and every independent journalist or streamer or anybody that was near that or that no, we all wear body armor now because just from that event alone. Because I like, yeah, Rittenhouse's rifle was pointed in my direction, and I saw it go up when he and like, yeah, that moment there, that one, that one will stay with me. So that's why
Yeah.
after that, like I told the stream, I was like, I'm not doing this without plates anymore. And like shout out to Snack Squad, they got me plates pretty
Man,
quickly.
that's
Yeah.
that's that's good. I mean, like, it's like you're concerned for your safety, but I think, something that you seem, I mean, first of all, you have your military training, and two, obviously, I think you you wouldn't put yourself on the line for something you didn't feel was important. So I'm sure, to some degree, you realize that, hey, if I'm not there with the camera, who is, right? Everyone else ran away, right? Everyone else is who knows where doing who knows what,
And
and there's
oftentimes,
nobody documenting this. What was that?
and oftentimes we're the last ones to leave, like we're the
Yeah.
last ones there, and like we're the first ones in the front, taking like, because some groups we can only film the police, and that's whatever, but then we're subject to all the pepper spray and tear gas and flashbangs that we're getting, we're right there because we can again only film the police, and that's whatever that group wants to be able to be there. It's whatever, but
Yeah.
but we're there in the middle between it, and then not only that, we're there till it's over oftentimes, so like
Yeah.
that's why we're so equipped with all this gear and shit, because like, yeah, it's like you're gonna like I don't know. And it's not even often there were often situations, but it's not like oftentimes, you know what I mean? It's like the situations were frequent this summer, but it wasn't every day. I should put it that way. There was more peaceful protesting and times where I didn't have to run and run for my life than not. So, um,
Yeah.
but after that situation in Wisconsin, there, yeah, I have a body armor everywhere I go. Does that
Yeah.
make
Yeah. Yeah, me too. So there's always that concern for personal safety in mind. I mean, you never let that go. But for me, like, I still have that passion for, journalism, and I think if not me, then who? And if not when? If not now, then when? So just gotta sometimes just gotta suck it up, and you gotta take the risk and acknowledge that, it could happen to you, but you make that choice in that moment. Is this worth it? And for me, it's
I've made
always been
that.
worth it.
Yep, and I've made that, and it's almost like a physical, decision with your body where you're like, should I leave right now or do I stay? Because I mean, the first time that happened to me was the third night or the fourth night. I already forget now. The night where we were on the Marshall Avenue Bridge, and we got pushed back into Minneapolis, and the nurses started to bail. Like a lot of the people were bailing, and like and there was a moment where I'm like, damn, like this is a moment now where do I leave, and like, am I, you know what I mean, or do I stay here? And like the police are coming down Lake Street, and like it's about, we're some shit's about to happen, you know what I mean, like it's about to be some shit.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, you know what, no, I'm out here, I'm doing it, and I just got to go through it, and whatever happens happens. And now um yeah, it's second nature just to stay, but back then it was almost a physical, like my body froze and I didn't know whether I to stay or to leave at that time.
Yeah, those decisions sometimes are made for you too. Sometimes you don't have a choice, and you just have to run with it. You gotta go rubber to the road, and you don't really
Hmm.
get to think about it. You're there sometimes when you're there, and like, I mean, like CJ, that Kenosha shooting. There's nothing you can do. It happened right behind him. Right, he was right there. There's no avoiding it. There's no running away from it. there's just have to put up with it sometimes.
Right.
How do you feel about like, the different opinions that people have about the way that you should live stream? I mean, how do you take those into consideration? Like, when people tell you, "Hey, Andrew, I think that you should do this different," or "Hey, Andrew, I think that you're not doing this right." I mean, like, what are you
We
thinking, bro?
So like we always answer and we say thank you for your opinion, and oftentimes the mods will say we'll share it with Andrew, and they do, and I see it, and then and it's criticism or anything, if it's something that I'm going to use, I'll I'll probably use it, or and if it's something that it's just somebody's opinion, they expressed their opinion, it was received, and at that point, if I implement it, I implement it. If I don't, I don't.
Yeah,
But at face value, though, I do, I read it at least, all it's all flagged and we read them all. So, but that I don't feel that just because somebody has an opinion, you need to implement that into what you do. But I look at them, but not all of them are for the benefit of the mass, and more maybe for the benefit of the individual.
yeah, no, yeah, and that's a really tough, that's a really tough question because, like, I mean, there's a million and one ways to do this right, and there's a million and one ways to do it wrong, and some people would want for you to already know exactly what you're gonna do, but some of these situations are just so unique. I mean, like,
Well, even when
yeah,
we've been live, and I know you've probably seen this too, where people will ask, as if we're watching a movie, will they be like, what's gonna happen? Like, where are we going? I'm like, I
I don't
don't
know.
know. Like, I don't know. Like, we're like, this is
Yeah,
alive. Like, I'm following what's going on, and so,
yeah.
but people are, I guess, it's so people are just into it. They're like, well, what happens next? It's like, I wait and see. Like, it's live. You'll see. I promise you will. I promise if you keep your eyes on the screen, you 1,000% will see what is happening. Like
Yeah.
like it'll all unfold before your eyes. I promise.
When you get compressed, man, after these long days, what do you do to decompress? D's asking, what brings you peace?
Weed,
It's a good
CBD.
answer.
No, well, yeah, but no, that definitely is an aspect. But no, like just the community building, the snack squad, the mod squad, all my mod team. But yeah, the platform that we built for this type of stuff, the snack squad, because I mean, Mercado Media is an LLC. You know what I mean? I have it's a LLC attached to it, so I didn't want to start playing video games with it and do I wanted to treat it with the respect of how I started it, and just have Mercado Media be Mercado Media. I'm out there with my phone doing
Yeah,
it. You know what I mean? Like that's what Mercado Media is. Whereas the Snack Squad is a place, where we can do things like we're doing tonight, video games, um, watching other rewatching streams. That's the one thing that Mercado Media that we've been doing is rewatching or re-uploading the streams and going through it once and it's an opportunity that we do every Saturday and Sunday. But there's again, that's kind of bring back to what we were talking about at the beginning. This is just more of a platform here on the Snack Squad to do more than just the reporting. But I want to, maybe incorporate some of the Mercado Media stuff into the Snack Squad. But I want to
yeah,
leave that be its own thing, because I don't want to start clipping Mercado Media stuff. I don't want to start doing what the news does. You know what I mean? It would just be the news. And if my page loses followers because I don't go live every day on it, then so be it. But I don't want to, our page isn't narrative driven. So I don't have a reason to, be live on it every day unless there's something happening.
yeah,
And there's an event tomorrow, so I'll be live on it tomorrow, but we're down to like maybe one day a week on Mercado Media. You know what I mean? That's just fine. I don't have a
yeah,
narrative with it. And that's where, to decompress, for me, it's all about community and the chat and whatnot. So
yeah.
that's what I do. What do you do? What do you do to decompress?
How do I decompress?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't do much honestly, but that's a good question. What do I do? Not too much. I think that, when I'm trying to just find peace, spend time with my family and the people that I love. I don't watch TV, and that's sad because I've been wanting to watch Breaking Bad,
Ooh, you
and
definitely need to watch that.
and I've never watched it. Yeah, and everyone's like, you should watch it, but it's just I don't really watch TV. So, between those two things, I think more than anything,
Yes,
just spend time with family.
Restream says note to self: find ways to decompress. Yes, that's another thing, dude. I do is when I'm not live and I'm not doing things, I watch Netflix or Disney Plus, The Mandalorian. Like that's one of my favorite shows. So I find things
Nice.
to just get lost in. Like I turn my phone, put my phone down, and just, or I built Legos. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've gone to Target and bought Legos, dude. Like I'm building Legos as a grown man.
Nice.
It's whatever though. It's just something. It's just something to do constructively with my mind, other than just think about all this crap, because it can be overwhelming.
Oh yeah, like I think, whew, man, it's been a long time since I've been like consistently live, every day. And part of it is because, financially, I've had to like really take some time to focus on myself and on the things that I need to pay off and the things that just my regular everyday life, nothing crazy, just I have to sustain myself somehow. So I haven't been able to go live every day. But I do this because I enjoy it, and I'm only gonna do it so long as I enjoy it, right? And
Hmm.
if I at this moment I wouldn't enjoy it, if I felt forced to do it every day all the time, because I just can't, like
Hmm.
I literally, for my own sanity and for my financial sake, can't be just you know doing this kind of thing 24/7, right? My own personal mental health matters. I took some time to be with my family when my uncle passed away, etc. Things like that, man, that are just important. And to me it's no big, it's no
I am sorry
uh
to hear about that too, man. I hope you have peace within your family after that, after your loss, man. I hope
I think,
everything's. How are you
yeah.
doing? How are you doing with that?
Doing well, man. It's I think as good as anyone could be. After I think such a tragic loss, it feels upsetting because it feels like um not senseless, but senseless. Like I don't know. It's just sad that people will die for something like COVID, and especially so close to the time where we're developing a vaccine and ways to treat COVID. I mean, I don't think there's treatment yet, but at the very least, a vaccine and a better understanding of the virus today than there was before.
Hmm.
So I mean that's really unfortunate, and it's just, to me, it's always just a reminder that life is short and you got to enjoy what you have, and you know what I mean.
Do you have like a person that you talk to about it, or like a community that you go to talk about it?
Not really. I feel like my family has been a really solid support system through this particular incident. I haven't felt the need to go and seek anyone else, but the people that are already really close to me. So
No, good. As long as
that's
you have
been really
a
nice.
solid support and foundation to to talk about it with, because it is important to talk about it, and not keep your emotions about it in. But we don't have to do that here. But as long as you got as long as
Yeah.
you got someone to talk about it with, that's good.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And to me, it's just a reminder, like be safe,
Yeah.
be prudent, and don't be fooled or be cynical about what's happening, because sometimes there's this YouTube video I watched about how every human feels like they have above average chances of survival for stuff, right? So like if you text while you drive, like you think you can do it, you know what I mean, versus other people. When you see other people doing it, you think that person can't do it. But when you do it, you're like, nah, I probably won't crash. It
Hmm.
probably won't happen. Like, we're really biased, towards ourselves in those situations, and almost think that we're above statistics, but we're not, like it could be you, it could be me, that, like we're not any better than anyone else, or any more vulnerable or any less vulnerable.
Oh man, I hope you join us in the snack squad sometimes. Though you should come hang out with us.
Yes.
It's a good community to there's a lot of people over here who care about you. I see them in the comments. on my over here. So they're saying, come to us, Hiram.
The speaking of snacks, fried ice cream right now. It sounds delicious.
Fried ice cream. We got that at the state. We got that at the state fair, probably. Honestly, what is your favorite snack?
My favorite snack.
Yeah,
Oof, man, it's a tough one. Oof, peach cobbler probably. I
peach
like
cobbler.
that mix between ice cream and really warm pie, like cold and really
Ooh.
hot. It's perfect. So one of my favorite snacks ever.
Oh shit. Mine is so this is like a so one of my favorite drink snacks, and it's not an alcoholic beverage. I mean, you can put alcohol in it if you want, but I it's raspberry sherbet, however you say it. I grew up saying sherbet. My grandma called it that with Sprite. You put it's like a sherbet float. You know, it's like opposite of a root beer float. Like
Huh.
you got root beer and ice cream, or you get some raspberry sherbet and some Sprite, and you put that in there. But my favorite like big snack would be like is either it's a tossed up deviled eggs and chocolate covered strawberries.
Nice. Chocolate
Mm-hmm.
covered strawberries have always felt overrated. I mean, not overrated. I just always think they're just so expensive. It's like ridiculous. You want them off the store, it's like, $1 a strawberry. You could buy the chocolate and the straw. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've always thought they're ridiculously expensive around Valentine's Day, and I
they
just like
are. That's why you don't buy them at Valentine's Day. You just buy them all the time. You buy them in like August. And you be like, hey babe, this is your Valentine's Day present
Happy birthday.
for 75% off.
75% off.
Dude,
Yeah.
look at
Uh,
just pretend it's Valentine's Day. It's fine.
yes, just close your eyes. February 14th is today. uh
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. Vanilla ice cream and orange soda float. That's cool.
Woo!
That's like a creamsicle, an orange dreamsicle. Those are pretty
I'd have to
delicious.
try that. Vanilla ice cream and orange soda. Yeah, is that like a does it taste like a dreamsicle? I love
Sounds like it.
dreamsicles. That was my favorite snack growing up at my grandma's house. Was a dreamsicle.
I hope Deborah over here says pecan pie, ice
Ice
cream,
cream, potato
and
salad.
pizza salad. I hope those are separate. Yeah, there's a period there. When I read it, I thought it was like pecan pie, ice cream, and potato salad together. I was like, huh,
What's
that's a
your
really. It's like
what's your must haves on Christmas for food for dinner for like or like a holiday? Let's go either Christmas or holiday or
dude,
Thanksgiving. What's your
no, no question, no, absolutely no hesitation. It's those tamales, bro. Tamales all the way. They're must have. Like I don't know. It's actually probably all I eat during the holidays. It's a
all of
bunch of
it?
tamales.
All of it. Tamales.
Tamales, man, all day, every day. I could eat
Yeah.
those. I could eat. Yeah, I could eat them even weeks after. I don't know. I could never get tired of tamales.
Mine would be I make a little sandwich. I take the ham because I prefer ham. I'm not a like turkey kid. Go right outside the door with that. Send the turkey out. I'm good. I want to. No, there's nothing, dude. Just like a ham in the crock pot with some just in there. And it's just my mouth is watering. Just a nice, soft ham, and it's just so much better than turkey. And I like to I take the bread or any type of the bread, as long as it's gluten free, and they take the gluten. Never mind, but as long as it's bread and I put ham on it and some of the mashed potatoes and gravy and make kind of like a weird sandwich, dude.
That sounds good. I
Dude,
think
that's
I
what I
do
do.
that. Yeah.
I think
Gretchen
I do
asked,
that.
this turned into a snack
I think I do.
conversation.
Oh yeah.
What about them chicken wings, Harm? Dude, I'm a sucker for chicken wings.
What is your
I
favorite
love
flavor of chicken
wings.
wings?
Spicy lemon pepper is probably my favorite.
Ooh, Asian zing, dude.
Hey, look, we
Asian
got
zing.
we got Asian Zing. That's your favorite? I've never had that.
What? I'm only
We
here
got
for.
newsworthy Spike in the comments.
Okay. So many welcome everybody. Welcome to the Snack Squad. Is for anybody, and we talk about food all the time. Snack Squad strikes again. Yeah, we just take over. Everyone just takes over everyone's stream. Andrew's audio is very quiet. Okay, let me fix that.
Hmm.
Let me fix that
Can
real
you?
quick.
Yeah,
Let me fix
just
that
let
in
me
one of
know.
those. There. All right, and then there we go. This should be better. My bad. Oops. Yeah. There we go. All right, we're good. Let me know if it's
So
better.
don't correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember that, when you were out there, you got those Slim Jims for energy once in a while. What was your favorite snack when you were down there,
Like,
filming?
so are we talking? So you gotta give me a city. Are we talking Portland? Are we talking
Is it
Seattle? Are we
Oh,
talking
it's
Are we talking Tulsa? Are we talking Minneapolis? There's been different snacks in different cities.
you got different game plans, huh, for every city you go to. What's the game plan in Minneapolis?
So Minneapolis was definitely the mystery sandwiches.
The
So like
mystery
I
sandwiches.
was inside of we were inside of George Floyd Square, and it was just I was just streaming during the daytime. This is when like hundreds and hundreds of people were like in and out of the square all the time because it's still going. Like our autonomous zone in South Minneapolis it still exists. Like they're still going strong there.
Oh
But
wow.
they had a platter of sandwiches, and one of the individuals said, "Hey, these are mystery sandwiches." Still, I don't know what that meant, but I ate one and it was pretty decent. Like it was, there's mystery. Some of them were PB and J, some of them were turkey. In Seattle, it was definitely the street tacos, the chop taco.
Nice.
That's when I had street tacos there. In Tulsa, I had it was fair food at um, in Black Wall Street um, during Juneteenth, the Juneteenth event. They had um, what did I have a I had fair food there though because I knew we were missing. I knew we weren't going to at the state fair, so I was like, I'm eating fair food. Where in Portland, it was definitely the Euros.
Euros. I haven't heard of
And oh
those.
my god, Luna, I think I finally had one, but it was the
Hmm.
Euros in Portland. There's a Euro stand next to the JC, the Justice Center, and
Whoa.
it's probably the best Euros I've ever had in my life.
So I know you're not talking about eating European currency. What are euros?
A euro. I don't even know what it's a Greek wrap
I see.
with
Okay.
yeah
Yeah. Yeah.
with some stuff in it, and I don't know what's in it,
Yeah.
but it's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I I love Greek food.
yes,
Yeah. Oof, delicious.
so good. And I think I mean, yeah, I think that's it. Yep.
Nice. My go-to was always here in Austin was
Lamb.
always that taco stand, man. Those al pastor tacos after a long night. I mean, like when I had those really long, exhausting, traumatizing, PTSD-inducing, nightmare-provoking nights, like, dude, those street tacos, man. There's this taco
Dude.
stand where I
Oh
live,
my god, dude,
Al
same.
Pastor Barbacoa. Oof, man, just always made me feel better.
Dude, there's and I'm drawing a blank now of the name of the street taco stand in South Minneapolis. It's gonna bother me. It's on Lake Street, and I eat it all the time. And now I'm having a moment, and I need to find out what it's called. Give me a second, and I'll figure it out. I'm having this is like I do, and again, I mean, I have PTSD from everything that's happened, and I draw blanks about the silliest of things where I just can't think of the name of like simple things.
Oh,
Mikey's
this
smoked chicken salad sandwiches. What's
So
that?
Mikey brought me a sandwich very early on when I was out there, and he makes this like really bomb smoked chicken salad. He came down on a bike, dropped off the sandwich in the middle of like the chaos because I was hungry, and hands down, I'm not saying this because or anything
Chicken
other than hands
sandwich.
down some of the best
How do you
smoked
make
chicken
smoke? How do you make? Oh,
I've had.
the smoke, the chicken was smoked inside of okay.
Yeah,
By the way,
I
the place is Taco Taxi. Everybody in South Minneapolis, Taco Taxi. That's
Taco Taxi.
Yep. That's if you haven't had Taco Taxi, like run that. like get some if you're in Minneapolis. But yeah, that's dude. Street tacos have been my life ever since Seattle. Like that's been like my comfort food. That like I can bring back to. I remember that moment in Seattle in the shop when I was eating it. So it's like that's like my. It's weird. It's like a comfort food for me, I guess, at this
Yeah.
point now.
So,
So,
you know what? On that topic, man, like how do you think your viewers and mods impacted you when you were out there? Like for me, it's really true, like what Gretchen said on the screen right now, where a lot of people brought food, and kept me fed. And I think, without that help, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I would have
same.
probably collapsed. So I think one big way for me was like getting that help in those emergency situations where I was more vulnerable, right? Because like it's in those situations where like you're out there, you don't really have like control of what's happening necessarily, and you might be hungry, you might really need water, and when people are watching and they come down and help, I mean, in those moments, I feel like I couldn't do it without the viewers doing that. So
Yes, but I mean, I mean, a few of my mods that are full. They fully actually like they help create content and like set up the streams where had picked me up in Minneapolis, like at my lowest, when like I was thirsty or I couldn't walk anymore, or like I was hungry and they brought me food. Like like they are still my moderators to this day, like in my streams. And yeah, I couldn't do it without the mod team, and that's why I put them on. I add them to our team chat, even if and it's a volunteer based mod team too. Like I wish I could pay everybody and like contribute to them, but it's right now I can't, and they understand that. And but it's
yeah,
that's what I feel like that's how they can be involved in this, and they're directly impacting and helping what we do, and which impacts what everybody in the world sees. So again, without them we couldn't
yeah.
go on.
And with the new age journalism, man, I think that's something like very unique and very new. Like the influence that people watching can have, right? Because these corporations often they're unreachable. They're unreachable, right? You're watching CNN reporters, you're watching like CBS reporters, big time like reporters out there with the big cameras. They're not approachable in the same way that me and you could be, right? And
Right.
I think that's really unique about the kind of journalism we're doing right now, is that like there's really just almost like the thinnest barrier between us and the viewers, and the viewers are actually having an impact on our reporting on the ground,
It
and
literally, in the most, I mean, the most visceral way that I can think of at the top of my head. And there's been multiple instances, and the one that I can just think of instantly because of the situation, what happened was in Kenosha with the fire at the church. Like the people were like, I think of from all over the world, were calling Kenosha Fire Department, letting them know that the church was like, oh, there's a question about Kenosha. Ironically, at the same time, I didn't even see it. What did you like in Kenosha? I'll tell you. But when that fire was going, like me and CJ, I all we had was just that little bucket of water and to put the water on the grass. But the viewers were watching something happen live, and they could like I couldn't call the fire department. I didn't have my other phone was like fried from like the heat, or it wasn't working, and like I only had the live stream, so I couldn't call the fire department. All I could do is film it and keep showing the progress of this fire. Um, and
yeah,
and then the people were able to call the fire department to get them in the direction of where the fire was, and let the fire department know that there wasn't any danger around. There wasn't rioting or like a danger in addition to the fire, so that way they could pull up and put that out in
yeah,
Kenosha.
yeah. So what did you like in Kenosha? I'm sure you didn't like the fire, right?
No, I
That's
liked
probably not really fun to
I like
see.
the people the most in Kenosha. The
Yeah,
people, the way that the community came back together in such a short amount of time after that, and kept persevering. When that one, Kenosha hits harder than anything for me. Even Minneapolis, and Minneapolis is like home. Like then Kenosha hits harder because of just it was such a dark time. That was like the
Yeah.
darkest streaming, like between the physical look of it, like the sky was always red. Just it just was like, if you want to compare, like Minneapolis was like a, if you want to compare it to movies, whatever, like Minneapolis was like a suspense action. There was like, suspenseful, but like Kenosha was like a horror movie. It was not. Yeah, it was an experience, man. But what I liked about it was the people, because even right after everything would happen, the residents, I still remember this, was like, I was like, me and CJ were just wrapping up, and this guy came up and he said, "Hey, we've been watching you guys all night. Um, would you please go show everyone the coastline and the harbor of in Kenosha, like with the water tower and the lake?" I'm like, "Oh crap! Like, yeah, we can do
Yeah.
that." And like the fact that he wanted the world to, after they just watched what happened all night long in Kenosha, to then see like a moment of peace in that city, that same city that we had just experienced everything, to hell. It was like literal hell. Um,
Yeah.
uh, and then just to see that, and like the sun came out, and like, yeah, that was a big powerful moment for me. And that's also another example of humanity, and how a resident would come out and risk their, risk how they probably were afraid to come tell us, to show the world like a different part of Kenosha. At that time, that was like, you can't even, what is that? That's that's humanity right there. Like, that's,
Yeah.
you can't make that up, as they would say.
I,
Can't make
you
that one
know,
up.
I remember what I was feeling when I was watching in Kenosha because I almost went with you and CJ. I
Mm-hmm.
remember. I mean, I was so close to going. I was just too broke, sadly, to make it out with you guys that early. But I was so close, honestly, even without all the funds to pulling the trigger and going with you and CJ down there. So, when I was watching, I just kept thinking like, man, that easily could have been me, out there, and it wasn't like even like. Like, oh, I want to be out there. It was more like, man, like tough.
Mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't I was, kind of like feeling really overwhelmed, and when you're out there, like it just doesn't feel the same with, versus watching it, like I think watching it you feel a lot more, I don't know, it's a lot stronger and overwhelming because there's nothing you can
You
do but
don't know
watch.
what you can. You don't know what's gonna. Like, I 100% agree with that, because I watched my friends' streams, and I'm like my anxiety is like through the roof. Whereas if it were me out there in person, and I don't know if that says something about us, like in that we're, desensitized to the situations now, or what. But like, there is something different about being there in person with it, because you can feel, I don't know if you can relate to this, but I can feel the vibes of like the air, like the environment around me. I can feel like if the crowd is, angry, or like upset, or if they're just chill, or, you know what I mean. How do you feel? Do you
Yeah.
feel like you How do you feel when you enter a situation? Can you pick up on the overall vibe of the situation, or how does that look? What does that look like for you?
For me, man, like I think that I get really hyper focused because I mean, I definitely have ADHD. There's just no question in my mind. Um, and I think that when I'm out there, like I have a unique ability to like hyper focus on what I'm doing. So I think that, when I'm doing, journalism and stuff, I usually like think I do a pretty good job of removing myself emotionally from the situation. Uh, I don't feel like I get too emotionally involved, and I think it's really important for me not to. You know what I mean? So, when I'm down there, like actually filming, I think my experience is usually pretty not neutral because I still get a lot of anxiety and I still, you know what I mean, like go through it. But in general, I think it's not as overwhelming as if I was watching or if I wasn't like hyper focused the way that I hyper focused when I'm down there. I mean, like I almost even forget to pee, like the whole time I'm streaming,
Yeah,
like 9 hours
yeah.
go by and I'm like, oh man, when I started streaming, I said I really needed to go pee, and 9 hours later, I haven't even gone.
I wonder if there's anything or studies done about when you're running on adrenaline, do other bodily functions cease to the need for them? Like, because I've same, like, people were questioning when do I go to the bathroom for the longest, and like honestly I didn't. You
Yeah.
know, and I didn't, like, I didn't, like, I had to, and then some shit would pop off, and then I wouldn't have to. I think it's your body's reaction to like shock and, you know, all this adrenaline, and we've been facing it, like, you know, face on, and I, you know, I've luckily been blessed with military training to be able to, you know, cope with this, and like, in what you were saying too, I think I've said before in a previous podcast with Justin about emotions, and in the heat of the moment, I know that there isn't time for, you know, in an analytical emotional
Oh no.
response, there isn't time to think about emotions at the time. There's just time to just act at that time. And so I think I've discussed that, and you almost said it exactly the same way. So you're on the same path. You're right. You're going through the same things that I feel many of us have. And
Yeah.
those of us that are able to, you know, continue on with it without, um, you know, not many of us, you know, there's a lot of us started, and there's not too many left, you know, doing what we're doing, or
Yeah.
doing it with, you know, and it is a mental stress,
So
and
yeah.
a mental strain. And I've had moments, you know, throughout the summer, and where I've just not wanted to answer anybody, and the mod squad knows that. And this was like early on though. Now I talk to them almost every day, but because I have an outlet like that with my team. But like, there's been times where I just don't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to go live. Like, even well, I haven't been live for the last 2 days, but I was starting to get that feeling of, you know, am I doing something impactful? Am I, like, is this, you know, how long is this going to last? Like, I'm starting to get, you know, those uh, um, all or nothing thinking, where it could, you know, in the negative side of it. But then I remember, you know, of everything that I've been through, and what, you know, back to the community talk we had, in the community that was built from it, I feel is important and keeps me in the fight.
What's one thing you've learned about journalism? Like, what's one thing like that kind of stuck to you, maybe that you're like, oh shoot, I never knew this about being a live streamer, or I never knew this could happen, you know, if I did journalism in this way. I don't know what have you learned
The
about
heart
journalism?
is dealing with, um, when, yeah, that's back to the previous topic, and it's um, how people's perception of what, of, you know, it's a confirmation bias again, but it's people's perception of what they think that you do. And
Yeah,
it's not and it's, you know, they want me so badly to be a reporter for them, or fit their vision of what they think I am, you know, in opposition to their own beliefs, so bad. And I feel like that's maybe why there aren't so many, you know, unbiased sources of news, because how do you navigate each side's crap? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
because it's, and that's what it is, and it is the minority too, but the minority is just so much louder than the people that, because even at the event on Saturday, I was at an event, you know, it's a conservative event. They're for the stopping the quote unquote steal the election, and you know, the coronavirus and the restrictions. It's a predominantly conservative event. Yeah, because I go to all of it, and I stream no matter what, and no matter what. But the entire time I had two Proud Boys standing behind me. You know what I mean? I'm standing there for an hour and 15 minutes, and I had two Proud Boys over my shoulder just standing there with me. And it's like, man, is that really necessary? You know what I mean? It's like you're babysitting me because you think that I'm like a counterintelligence person for Antifa, or for whatever you think, you know what I mean? Or
yeah,
like, you know what I mean? And I'm really not, like, I'm genuinely just there for the mass that want to just see what's happening. It's this internet online shit, the Twitter world, and this shit that I don't care about. And it's like, they care about it, but I don't care about it. But they want me to care about it so that way I understand it. But it's so pointless. You know what I mean? It's like this that useless annoyance, and that's really what gets to me. it's not any, it's not gonna, it doesn't help. It's just number one, the people that want to actually see what the other side is saying, and or if they want to see what their own side is saying, you know what I mean? Like, what's the root, what are the people that are actually out there saying, the people that are out there with their boots on the ground protesting what they believe in, no matter what
Yeah.
side it is, they're out there doing it. So I feel like since they're out there doing it, I'm out there to show it for whoever wants to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a held event, but there's always like this small group of people that are so against it because they don't want the other side to see it and then take it to their dichotomy of the internet and then talk about it there. And like, I don't care about that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care
Yeah.
about their forums and their online chat and like that shit. Like, it's just a waste of time. Like, and you know what I'm saying? Like the Twitter world and like the
Yeah.
all these, like, I don't have time for it, man. And it's just
Yeah.
like, I don't, and I get it, and it's our generation and younger people that are super involved in it now, even the older ones. um, but it's just like, I feel, learning to become a reporter is just the journey of always being open to learn, what the event or what you're where you're reporting and what it's saying,
Yeah.
whether it supports your own beliefs or whether it doesn't, and you're just there to hear what they have to say, and then as the reporter, you can then digest that information and apply it and adjust your own beliefs, or you can throw it out. But it's not your responsibility. But I feel as a reporter, it's not yours. It's not your job to tell others how to feel. It's their job to do what I just did as a reporter, or a person giving information, and discern the information for myself.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree with a lot, if not almost everything that you just said. I think it's really important to, not get sucked into this idea that you're there to tell a particular narrative, but more than anything, you're there to just, you know, things are happening, and you're there to capture what's happening, not to strategically capture what's happening so that you could tell the story that you want to tell, or that you want everyone else to believe because you believe it, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
if it's happening, I think it's important for us to know about it, and then we're all kind of in this together as a society, and we should all hold each other accountable. And and then I think that the idea that you need to, have a particular narrative or bias approaching this, particular career, I think is to the disservice of the community, not giving the people the information they need. What are your
Well,
takeaways? Go
that
ahead.
and if you're, I mean, there's already so many one-sided places to go. You know what I mean? You like, it's, and when when everybody started, or I shouldn't say everybody, when the more conservative side of ideology started leaving Facebook for Parlor, and it's like, man, now that social media apps are getting separated up, and people are going to stay within their own little dichotomy of, or their own little world of what they believe in. It's like, man, how are you ever going to hear how someone else, excuse me, how someone else thinks,
Yeah,
if you keep yourself in your own little bubble? It's,
yeah,
you don't have to agree with it the other person's saying, but it's still important to hear what they have to say, because not everyone in the world thinks the same way as you, and the world doesn't revolve around how you feel necessarily. There might be people that are in power that think parallel to you, but there are a lot of people that make things happen that probably don't agree with what you say, and that's for anybody.
yeah. No, 100%. And I just, it's always important to keep that in mind, to keep yourself accountable, to not get sucked into the idea that what you think and what you see is end all be all. There's just so much to everything. What are some of your biggest takeaways this year? In regards to live streaming, what's something that you walked away
Um,
with?
Golly, man, there's like,
What didn't you walk away with, right?
yeah, yeah. What didn't I walk away with? All this money that apparently that they say I have. I don't have. Um, yeah, that's the other thing too. A lot of people think that because you have a big following means dollar signs, and that's not true at all. You have to
Oh, not
work.
at
Yeah,
all.
you have to work for what you got and what you
Yeah.
need. So it's not. It's I love the growth and whatnot from it, but I'm not in this for the business side of things, or like, I'm not in it for money. I love doing this. Um, that's the thing. The biggest thing I've learned is doing things because you love doing it. And I've always had jobs, and I've worked all types of jobs. I was in the military. I worked at the rail yard. I've worked at, now I'm working at a gas station. Yeah, I've done all types of jobs, but I never found one that I truly loved. I loved the army and the military, but I didn't want to do that long term.
Yeah.
But I had a passion for it when I was doing it, and every time that I put the uniform on, I had a passion for it. But I didn't have a long term passion. But I finally found something that I love doing, um, and that's just, I guess, community building. Honestly, because that's what, the future of what I'm going to be doing is just conversations, and community building, and learning how to be responsible with a platform too, as well, is a big
Yeah.
one. Because because a lot of people, yeah, being responsible with your platform. I'll just leave it at that. What are your biggest takeaways from the year?
Man, I think the biggest one was learning that everyone, that you meet and everyone you come across with always has a different perspective, walk of life, different access to information and resources. And even though we're all, people are all sometimes in the same group, they're not always in the same mentality with the same idea. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. It's like, wow, like people talk about BLM this, BLM that, or Trump supporters this, or Trump supporters that. Man, but even within the group, they sometimes can't agree, right? Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? People don't even
yeah,
agree within the group, and so like
yeah.
it's like it's just so diverse,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, and
and
I say the same thing too. I'm like, there's a lot of people here. They're all, you can say what you want, but that's why it's important to just be here and document it, because there's people
yeah,
out here for different reasons. Like every time I go, I'm like, there's people out here that, this person could be out here for a completely different reason than that person. Yeah, there's some Trump flags out here or whatever event, or there's BLM flags or whatever, but not every person's out there for the same reason or the same
yeah.
motivations of being there.
Yeah, and so somebody asked, what are some of the thought processes that we have when live streaming or deciding what angles to shoot from, what to shoot? And I think I kind of touched on this, a little bit earlier, and I said that, like I get physically exhausted because I always try to get the most accurate. But one thing that's really helped me is like I always go out there like a baby, right? Like I'm always like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know anything. What would a baby do if they were just for the first time, or like an alien, like for the
Yeah.
first time seeing this happen? Like,
Preach.
what
Yes.
what would you listen to? What would you look at? You know what I mean? Because I think that if you look at it from like, well, I already know this, or I already know what this person thinks, then you're not really doing a service to the people that really don't know what's happening, that don't have the information or the knowledge that you do. So I always just assume I'm just a baby here, and I don't know what's going on, and I'm gonna let people teach me, and whatever I feel an alien who had no clue what was happening would listen to is what I try to film. So
For
pretty much
for
everything.
Yeah, I'm with that too. I definitely going into a situation as if, and though I think I've said this, as if an alien from from another planet wanted to know what was happening in the United States and whatever state we're in filming. Like, what if they wanted to ever see, someone that would have no idea what a Republican or a Democrat or a damn, like, they wouldn't they wouldn't even care to know what that means, but they just wanted to see what was happening. Like, that's how I want to do it.
when you
So
put when you put it that way, man, I can understand why aliens haven't visited Earth. God
yeah, fuck
damn,
that.
bro.
They're
Yeah.
like hell no. What was the other part of that? Oh, so for me too. I guess for me, I have I guess an eye for like film, because I've made a movie before, and I did a documentary in the
Ooh,
military about my military job. So I mean, I think I have an eye for film. So I take
yeah,
that, and I don't know how I got it or what, but I just like. I don't know, when I'm out there, I can see angles, and it's so weird. And photojournalists and photographers will know what I'm talking about, and film and videographers. But I just can. It's so weird. I could when I don't know why I have that, but I've never used it except for when I made one documentary in the army, and now doing this stuff. Like, but I can editing videos for me comes quick. I can edit a video in like really quick and have so, but it's just an eye for it. I don't know. I
Man,
don't know. I'd have to explore that within myself to understand how that goes. But for the angles part, it's, you know, I'm always, for me when I'm doing it, I'm usually off to the side, or like an angle where I'm not going to be invading privacy or filming faces, or I'm usually middle of the, kind of like where a cadence collar in the military next to like a formation would be. That's where I kind of angle myself to the side of it, and to the back, so it's filming the back of the people's heads, and you're not, you know, getting people's faces on the stream.
yeah,
But and so with that too, I mean, just being able to be versatile, because I don't like, there's been some situations where I've been too close
yeah,
for comfort. One being in Kenosha at the used car parking lot. I got way too close, like way too close. Yeah, that one's bad. But it's just being safe about it, and
you know,
understanding your surroundings. That's the best way I can put it.
yeah. You know what I think about a lot? Man, I don't even know what I think about a lot.
Yeah,
It just, I don't know why that what I was just about to say just like fizzled out as soon as you finished talking. Talk about ADHD, man. Well,
for me
wait,
it's
you,
PTSD. But either way, I got the same thing.
yeah,
Same thing.
wait, you were talking about, God, now I just had a total brain fart. What was the question that you were answering specifically?
I was answering the one about angles, and
Oh,
it's
yes.
from newsworthy spike.
So you know what? Sometimes, like those angles just or those shots or those moments, I mean, they just kind of sometimes you're just walking in and you see something and you're like, holy shit, this is impactful. One time like when I was in DC, I was just filming the protesters yelling at the cops and they were really close to each other. And as I was passing by, I saw this cop's face, and I just stopped, and he looked so sad, and he was about to cry, and I just kind of zoomed in on his face, and in the background, you could hear the protester yelling, and you could see the way he was reacting to everything the protester was telling him, and you could just see that he was not trying to show emotion, but then. At some point you kind of see a tear rolling down his face, and I'm just like zoomed in all the way to his face in this moment. And I remember that shot so clearly, because like it was just a combination of like his face and then the screams in the background that really showed, I think the way the movement looks sometimes, right, on both sides, the way that, some of these people were feeling because they're people, angry, sad, confused. I mean, that was just such a powerful moment. I was just walking by, it's just like,
Hmm.
you know, being myself and just filming and it's boom, just, it was right there happening right in front of you. And so sometimes those camera angles or those moments you get, you just fall on your lap, kind of, you just run into them.
I agree, 100%, man. It's and that's I think that's when I've had those opportunities, and just things that happen. I think it's just humanity, that you can capture, because it's a live stream, and oftentimes there's humanity happening, and the news doesn't show that. They'll just show the craziness. And mine, for me, was when a man. One of the only times I didn't act, and jump in and help, was when there was a man under a building, and he was drunk, and homeless, but there was a and he wanted to die that night. It was in Minneapolis on night two. He was underneath a street light, and right next to that street light was a burning building, and the building collapsed. And if they wouldn't have ran over to him and like physically threw him to the other side of the street. Like, I have all this and I streamed all of this. They threw him to the other side of the street, and it's just like, holy shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that
Yeah.
is like like that, like people that didn't even know him, or like, you know what I mean, it's, they just saved his life so he would live. They didn't it, whatever he believed in or what his opinions on life didn't matter. They just wanted him to live. And he
Yeah.
was you know, he was hammered drunk. He wanted to die. He wasn't listening. But in that moment in time, like I was like, wow, you know, that's humanity right there.
Wow. Wow, indeed. Yeah. I mean, that's that's the short of the long. Because that shit sticks with you, man. It follows you wherever you go. There are moments you don't forget, and
Hmm.
they sometimes change your life, and it's really hard to change a life. So just imagine how fucking crazy those moments could get.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. There's some really nice comments here, man.
I've been looking at them. Years to
I
know.
think.
Well, thank you, Carrie.
Yeah, thank you so much, Carrie. We appreciate it. And we do see your comments and
Yeah,
appreciate the loving comments. We just try to take those really difficult questions sometimes. So, where
yeah.
would you go and what would you be doing? Dreamscape, escape, proof. Where would I go? If you
For
could
a
just,
dream escape,
yeah.
Maldives. Um, that one where they got the bungalows, or I don't know what you call them, the little tiki huts in the water. You know what I mean? They're like in the water, but they're out a ways.
Oh,
But
yeah.
they're still in the shallows, but like they got like slides and shit. You can like take a slide into the ocean. Or some of them have like hot tubs and shit attached. But yeah, that looks cool. Like that'd be
Does
fun.
Dream escape, does it have to be realistic?
You know, I mean, I don't think
Oh, man.
mine's realistic. I don't have time to go to
I,
Maldives. The fuck,
you
like,
know, I think it's impossible, but I would really want to go to an alien planet.
which
Like, I
one?
mean, there's got to be. I mean, I don't know. There's got to be aliens out there, man. Like, there has to be. I mean, there's like, I think it was 10 billion trillion uh, planets that were capable of life, just within proximity of Earth. I mean, like, holy, there's more Earths in the universe than there are grains of sand in in Earth on Earth. It's just like, what kind of life is out there, man? Like, I don't know. I'd really want to go to an alien planet, and get to know some aliens. I feel like that'd be my dream escape. I'm so fascinated by space and the cosmos.
Would
And
you want to get involved in like the when they start doing um the shit? There goes my thought now. The commercial travel to space. There we go. That's what I was looking for. If they're gonna ever do that, would you be interested in that?
Well, I don't know. Some of the challenges with this is they're big, man. They're big sacrifices because, like, for example, if we could ever travel at light speed and get to other parts of the universe, like, you'd be leaving it all behind, right? Because the minute you go light speed, time slows down for you. And like, what's 1 second for you becomes millions of years for people that didn't travel with you. That'd be literally mean that you're leaving behind everything you ever knew, never coming back to it. And that's a big one, man. Maybe if I didn't have a family or if I didn't have people I loved or cared about on Earth, but I have too many people.
What's your? You have a theory that you're alien?
That I'm an alien. This feeds into my theory that Hiram is an alien.
Ooh. All this talk about aliens.
Man, if I'm an alien.
They declassified some shit already. I looked into that. I was like, whoa.
Did
2020 is getting
they?
weird. Yeah, they
What did they declassify?
the damn DoD declassified some of the files they have about UFOs and shit, and like admitted it to be like real.
Oh, wow.
This was in like August, like July, August. Here I sound like a QAnon person, but like no, this like actually happened. Like this actually did, but it wasn't talked about because of all the shit that was happening.
You know what's
Yeah.
interesting? This supposedly, I mean, you never know with these things, right? But supposedly, like an Israeli scientist, or like he worked for the Israeli government at some capacity, with space research and exploration. He said that there are aliens and we do interact with them already, and the government just won't release that information to the public. But I mean, who knows, man? You were in the military, so You
Oh, so
know,
I know.
you,
Yep.
you you know how much stuff we don't know as civilians.
Oh yeah. I can tell you that. Um, you got to put your socks on. There's only one way to put socks on, and wash your hands. No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything more than what the regular population would know, man. It's I was just a truck driver in the military.
Yeah.
I was in Alaska though, so I mean, there's some silos up there.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
But
Alaska is
besides that,
pretty empty.
yeah, but they got some big bases up there. Big bases.
Yeah, so anyway, that was an interesting alien conversation.
Yeah, we went into
That
that one.
you remember, you know what I really wish I could have been there to film the Naruto run into Area 51
That was like
that blew up.
that was the start of this. I feel like some people broke in and like caused a time paradox and fuck 20 and ruined 2020 because that when was that? Wasn't that like the summer of 2019, right? Or was it that was
I
last year?
I don't remember, but it was millions of people, just ready to storm Area 51 and
God,
run in like Naruto.
I think so. I think a couple got in and messed up 2020 and
Oh man,
did the Matrix.
they messed up the Matrix, man. Yeah, 2020's been an eventful year. I
What's
mean, to
been
say
your
the least.
what's been your biggest memory from streaming that you can think of?
My biggest memory,
Yeah.
that's a tough one, man. It's a tough question. I don't have a single biggest memory, but the one thing that's always and forever gonna live in my mind was the shooting. That that was
The Garrett Foster.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was like whew, man. I mean, that was yeah. That's all I could say. I mean, I don't know how to describe it in words. That's probably the
Have
one
you
thing
have
that's
you been able to process it, and talk about it with anybody?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I've been able to process what I witnessed, and it's horrible, man, to see somebody's life end like that. I mean, I am constantly afraid of losing my own life, and especially at this age, I can't imagine anyone else at my age would feel any different. You know what I mean? Not like anyone's like, yeah, heck yeah, I want to die today. Nobody wants to die, and nobody wants to watch somebody die. I mean, that's so
And it was and that I
next
mean,
level.
and you were there, and you that was one of your big. I mean, unfortunately, one of your biggest moments. From what you went through and how you and it grabbed the attention of everybody. And you were there. And this is the death of Garrett Foster that we're referring to for my stream. And at that time, I had and I lost probably like 3 to 4 thousand followers when I shared that. The rest in peace, because of the venom that people were saying, dude. It just was.
That's
Um,
insane.
you know what I mean? Yeah, because I shared a rest in peace post when it happened because I couldn't. I was like, this guy, it's somebody lost their life. You know what I mean? But people's opinions were so strong, and just like
Dude,
that's when it started. That's when like that because that was before Kenosha, I think.
yeah.
That was in, yeah, and that's when like the venom that people were spewing. I'm like, how could like this kid died? Like, what are you guys talking about? And it's just I was getting sickening, and like I
I'll
couldn't believe it.
I'll tell you, man, it was ridiculous. Like, it was ridiculous because there was absolutely nothing that I could say or do that would really clarify the situation. And people were coming in like, "Oh, I know exactly what happened," or "I saw what happened." No, you didn't. Like, I didn't see what happened. I was 10 feet away. Like, and I knew that at that moment and at that time, I was the only one with footage, and so it would really upset me when people are like, "Well, will this happen?" I'm like, "No, no, you don't know because I don't know." And if I don't know, there's no way you could know because I was literally 10 feet away myself. You watched the video that I filmed that is super blurry, super shaky. My vision wasn't shaky or blurry like the camera was when that was happening, and I didn't even know what was happening. It was so upsetting to see so many people just walk in like, "Oh well, we know what's going on." Like, no, you don't. Get out of here.
and they put their assumptions over it too. That was
Yeah.
and that's yeah, that I couldn't believe it, what I was seeing. And and it wasn't a lot of us shared it, and like, and the people just, it was just terrible. And that's when things were just getting like becoming more toxic in terms of like just trying to do something with our other platform that we had. And I didn't know, and that at that time, you know, I didn't know what to share. Like people, it was such a sensitive time, and now I just have such a shield built up. Now I don't care what people think about my posts. But at that time, you know, I'm still, I think it was like July, or it was July, right? Or
It
August. It was
was
July, at the end of
July.
July.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's because that's when I went to Portland and I was doxxed by a big conservative dude. It was just like it was rough for that, and like just like I couldn't do write anything on Facebook, and like yeah, I shared that, and that's when I started seeing how like that's when I started seeing the decline of people's togetherness on the internet when it came to like this movement, and like people, it was just like getting bad, getting worse. And um that's when I think shortly after, yeah, Kenosha happened, and then I had to start having a mod team for my, you know, my chat and my
Yeah.
comment and my comments, because it's like these people don't know. It's like, well, like I can't have, you know, racist comments from you these idiots that want to do this. Like we have to ban everything that comes in like that, and there is like a lot of it, and it can't exist. And if it does exist, Facebook can take your whole platform down if you don't have moderators for your chats, because people are just gross in the comments. And
Yeah.
they can be. So you have to have that, like it's almost kind of like having a firewall protection or some type of something for your chat to keep it. And those, if any other little smaller streamers are watching or anything, that's a must. You must have mods for your chat to protect that.
You know, you learn all these things as you're going too. Like you start realizing, like, dang, like, I really need, moderators. I really need this. It takes a team.
It
It's
does.
not just it's not just you. It's a bunch of people in the background making sure that you're taking appropriate action, because I mean, you can't predict, man, what's out there. Like the internet, it could literally be anyone from any part of the world, and saying anything, and
Sure.
uh, yeah, there's just no way to do it. It takes a village.
It
There's no way to do it
does.
on your own.
Well, man, would you like to, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We could wrap it up. I feel like we're talking people's ear off, but
No, they love this. We should still like. Do you want to do this every Friday? Are you down? Are you free every Friday or no?
I I will get
Like if
back to you
if me and you did
specifically.
this and had a third person on, like, to talk with, and we just,
No, yeah, I feel like we can do this.
it would be me and you, and then we'd have a third guest on every Friday, and it'd
Yeah,
be our be a feature. That'd be our thing.
yeah, yeah.
We like this.
Let
Think
me make
about it.
sure. Yeah,
I'm
let
doing.
me.
Listen. I'm doing it no matter what. But I'm inviting you to be like the, you know, if you want to do this together, you know, and
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. Of
be our
course.
thing, and then have a third person on every Friday.
I no, I love the idea. Yeah, yeah. I'll let you know. I mean, I'm just stuck on the Friday thing. I just don't know, what my Fridays might look like. But I mean, I'll let you know, man. And we'll see what we can put together. It looks
And if
like
you ever can't, yeah, if you ever can't, yeah, I'm so this for my platform, guys. This is what every Friday I'm gonna be having a discussion with somebody, and I feel like me and Hiram are a pretty good team, and introducing a third person. So you guys are great together. Maybe better without a third. Although, yeah, me and Hiram we've done this a couple of times now, and
yeah.
we could talk for hours. But when we have a third person, you know, that's when you can um, really get into conversation, because you hear a third perspective and you get to learn from someone new, and also you get to hear from me and Hiram, who have experience. I think the third person would be different. Yep. So we'll look into that. I'll let you guys know about that with Hiram
Yeah,
in the future. Pleasure as always.
of course. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, Andrew, man. It's always awesome to have somebody to talk to about all the kind of, crazy stuff we've gone through. And,
Oh
I
yeah.
know that there's so much more to talk about. I mean, we could talk for hours, like you said.
Seriously.
I mean, like it doesn't even feel like it's been 2 hours, and I'm looking at the live timer. It's been 2 hours and 15 minutes now, and it doesn't feel like it. I mean, like I could go for the rest of the
That's what
night,
I'm
but
saying. That's why I feel like it's like we don't like we every week, dude. We can do this if you would like to, or but I'm doing it no matter what. But I'm inviting you. We'll talk about it this week, and this is our
yeah,
first one, so all of you that are watching can kind of like see this planned. And but it's important to continue this going. And like we just said, we could go for hours. It's already 10 p.m. I'm not. I'll talk to my stream after I'm done with Hiram, but um this yeah, I love this, dude. I love the video games and stuff, but I also want to make this a weekly addition to my content on
I
my platform.
we need to play some Cold War Zombies or
Oh, that
something
too. We
soon.
need to play video games together too. We'll do that. We'll do
Yeah,
that. Have a video game. We'll have a video game stream. But all right, man. It was good
cool.
talking with you.
Likewise. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
I'll
great
be
talking to you.
heading out of your stream here and just talking to mine. So, dude, thank you so
Cool.
much, and it was a pleasure. I can't wait to do this again with you.
Thank you.
All right,
Likewise, Andrew.
all right,
Take
buddy.
care.
Yep,
All right. Have a good night.
you as well.
Yo, yo, yo. So, what up, fam? All 20 of you that are watching, because nobody is dying. I know that we don't always watch in big numbers when there's not something crazy happening, but that is okay because that's just the nature of the kind of things that we do here on ImHiram Live. Remember, I am or try to be a journalist. And I can't speak for others the way that Andrew does his journalism. I can't speak for the way that Carissa Dez does her journalism, or the way that Concrete Reporting does their journalism. But I can tell you that here on ImHiram Live, the way we do journalism is always unbiased. It is always open, free to the public, with the objective of bringing you information, not that's going to give you what to think, but instead that's going to give you the information so you can form your own opinion. So I'm not here to tell you what to think, what to feel. Some of you get mad because I don't echo your thoughts or your feelings, but I'm never going to do that. I'm sorry. I'm not here to echo thoughts, feelings. I'm not here to tell you how to think. This is an unbiased, unedited, raw, and open platform for information that's going to help us all become critical thinkers. So thank you so much for, being part of the journey, being part of everything that we've been able to accomplish. I, sincerely apologize for my ridiculous absence. It's been a wild month, from starting from the death of my uncle to, finding my footing financially again, because, I ran through all my savings and whatnot. Now after I dedicated myself to doing this full time. So, if you ever are in Texas and Austin and you're making that favor delivery, you're getting some food delivered, it could be me. I'm still working for favors, so I could be the one delivering your food tomorrow. Who knows? But again, thank you so much for joining. All of you know that I love you. All of you guys know that you mean everything to me, and that I, feel humbled and just privileged to have the opportunity to be part of something big. And again, I do it because I enjoy it. I don't do it because I'm trying to get the hype. I don't do it because I want to be famous. I don't do it because, you know, I make money from this, because I don't. I really just do it because I love you guys and I love my community, and I feel like we all deserve a fair chance at better information, at better access to resources and knowledge, and, opinion sharing and creating. I don't know. Now I'm just kind of drunk talking to you guys because I really love you. But, you know, uh, thank you so much again for everything. And I hope that each and every one of you has a beautiful night, a more beautiful week, and beautiful holidays with your family. Be safe, be grateful, and always be prepared for the unexpected. So, with that really awkward send off and all my blabbering and nonsense, I will let you guys enjoy the rest of your night without any more uh, Hiram, I guess. Thank you so much, everyone. It was so great to answer your questions, to talk to you guys in the comments, to have Andrew on board. Again, man, this is how I am with my girlfriend. I treat you guys like my girlfriend. I don't say bye, but I don't leave, and just doing sweet nothings for like an hour and a half. So, in a lot of ways, all of my community is like my second girlfriend. So I love you guys. Take care before I say any more nonsense. Be safe and good night.